get my mic situated so you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2. I'm using a Tascam DR10L. See if it focuses in on that little guy. It might be a little close. See if you can see that. This is what I use to record a lot of my audio. Let me get correctly situated here in my chair. So I wanted to take a few minutes in this video and talk about talking to a lens and how to talk naturally and not feel robotic and just like you're reading off of a piece of paper. I've been at this for a long time. And just a little background. So my name is Douglas Moore. If you're on this channel, you probably know by the title of this channel. I'm gonna try to make this whole video in one shot, no edits. It's not gonna be perfect, but what I wanna demonstrate here is that over time, as you get more comfortable talking to a camera and talking to a lens, and did I actually hit record? I did. See, this is what I wanna highlight on this channel because I have been shooting video, doing video production, music, audio production for years and years and years. And still to this day, I have to double check to make sure that things are turned on and recording correctly. You'll see me once in a while glancing to the viewfinder of the Canon camera that I'm using. I use an R6 Mark II. I have a couple of them. And what I want to highlight in this channel as this is probably the first video I'm putting up that's kind of this style is the behind the scenes of what I do and how my setups work, some tips on, talking to the camera, audio production, things like that, all revolving around content creation and being a content creator and someone who makes videos. So I've been at this for years. My wife and I have been married going on 10 years this summer. And I was vlogging just a little bit back right before we got married. So probably 11 years ago. This was when daily vlogging was really a big thing on YouTube. And I was using just a point and shoot camera. I ended up starting to use my phone a little bit. And then as we got married, we daily vlogged for, I want to say over a year. And then we kind of started to do a little bit more sporadic, but we did 700 or 800 videos throughout that vlogging period. It wasn't all daily, but some of it was. So the first thing when it comes to talking to a camera and feeling natural and talking naturally in front of a camera is, in my mind, is practice makes perfect. And I know that sucks to hear if you're just getting into this and it's like, well, how do I practice? And the way you practice is to shoot video. And the more you do it, the more natural you're going to become because the camera, in our sense, as we vlogged, and I made coffee and I forgot to even bring it over here. So let me grab that. So I wanted to do this while I sipped my coffee. And so the way that works is the more you do it, the more the camera feels less like a camera and more it feels like you're just sitting across from somebody as you're conversing with them. And so, yes, I have the camera set up, but it just might as well be a person sitting in a chair sipping a coffee. So if you're sipping coffee, cheers. If you're sipping something else, we can still cheers. So when it comes to being natural in front of a camera, my first tip is to, even if you don't post the videos, to film yourself and don't be too critical of yourself as you're watching it back. Because I even don't like me in videos decades later. So you're probably never going to like watching yourself and hearing yourself in video or on audio. And that's okay because I'll have my wife watch it. She's like, that's great. And I was being really critical of myself, even doing this for years. So don't worry about perfection. That's number 2. Don't try to be perfect. And that's why I wanted to do this video in one shot with no editing, because if you try to be perfect, the more you try to be perfect and the more you try to say those things just perfectly, the more you're going to end up messing up and needing to do edits and cuts. And it's going to make more work for yourself in post because you're going to have to do a lot of cutting of the clips and clipping out I have to restart because I didn't say that quite right. Now, granted, when I'm trying to make a video, and I run a YouTube channel called D Soundman where I do a lot of music, gear review, pro audio type stuff. And if I'm going about talking about a specific topic, maybe I'm giving an instruction on how to do something on a keyboard, I will redo, basically the camera continues to roll but I'll reword or rephrase things because I'm trying to give a clear message in those videos on how to do something. So I have a very specific intent. But when you're just practicing, don't worry about perfection, because perfection's going to come and you're never going to be perfect, but you're going to kind of move into and work into your natural self in front of a camera as time goes on and you do this more. So like I said, even if you don't post them, just record yourself. And the more you do that, the more you're going to feel more comfortable talking to a camera as if it's a person. Sip of coffee. Ooh, it's getting cool. So lukewarm coffee is not my favorite thing. I prefer hot coffee, but this is great. So number one, practice. Just record yourself talking to a camera. And number two, don't worry about being perfect while you're doing that. Even in this video, I've had some gotta clear my throat, gotta sip my coffee sort of things. And if I'm doing a very specific video, again, I'll cut those things out. But for the intent of this, it's not perfect, and that's okay. Now, number three kind of goes along with the first one, because I'm telling you to just practice and keep doing this. Well, what do you talk about? What do I make videos about? And that's where number three comes in, because I think it's important, if you want to talk naturally in front of a camera and you don't want to have to force things or write a script and read off a script, is talking about something that you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about trading cards, gaming, sewing, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Whatever your passion is, those videos are going to be the easiest to make, because it's going to be the easiest for you to talk about those things. When it comes to music, when it comes to technology, I do software consulting and software development for my day job. When it comes to those things, I've been doing it for years. I love doing it. And so it's really easy for me to just rattle on about that for hours. I'm not going to keep you for hours in this one. But when it comes to things that we're passionate about, it's way easier to talk about those things than it is if I were to try to talk to you about sewing. I don't really know a lot about sewing. It's not a passion of mine. So I would have to research it. And I heard a noise. I was like, is someone knocking? I'd have to research it. I'd have to write a script or figure out what I'm talking about. And then it would make it sound more like I was reading off of a script rather than just naturally talking to the camera. Think of it like when you're with your friends, you're not really going to be, drawling on about something that you're not passionate about. We tend to talk to our family and friends most when we're talking about things that we're excited about or passionate about. So number three, find something that you're passionate about. And chances are, if you're trying to get into content creation, you're getting into it for something you're passionate about. If you're not, then it's probably not going to last long, just talking from my experience. I've been doing music YouTube for 9 years now, off and on at the beginning and pretty consistently over the last 4 to 5 years. And to this day, I can still put out 1 to 2 videos a week because it's about something I'm passionate about. So number one, practice. Just film a lot. I've done probably hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of videos throughout the last 10 plus years. And a lot of those are me talking to a camera, especially with the vlogging. Just talk about what you're doing that day. And that gives you something to talk about and something to practice with. Walk around with the camera, hold it in front of you, point it at you, and just talk to it about what you're doing. That is going to help that habit build and become this natural process. Number two is what was number two? Now I need another coffee. I said no cuts. Number two is don't be perfect. There we go. And number three is, talk about something that you're passionate about. And if you're getting into content creation, I'd really recommend that you choose topics that you're passionate about. And don't worry about making money or anything like that. If you talk about something and you video things that you're passionate about, if people like it, it'll grow naturally. So don't worry about that. I'll do another video about channel growth and all of those things here at a later date. But again, those three things, I'm going to stick to those because those are the three biggest things that have helped me. Maybe kind of a side thing is don't worry about the equipment you're using. So a lot of times we put that as a bar of, I need to get this camera before I can start videoing myself. Don't even worry about that, because chances are if you have a phone and it has a camera on it, which probably most of the population that has phones, there's a camera on it. If you have that, just flip that phone around, video yourself, or even do it in selfie mode and just get used to talking to a camera. Again, don't worry about the equipment. Equipment has come so far that when I look back at the equipment I started with, even the lowest quality, cheapest equipment now is probably better than what I started with. That was a few $100 back when I started. So those three things, stay focused on those. And I would say just keep videoing yourself, make videos. And if it's about something you're passionate about and you feel okay about that video, post it. You'll get some feedback. Everyone's brutally honest online. You might get some good feedback. You might get some bad feedback. I'll do another video at some point around trolls, feedback, comments on videos, because that's a big one over the years in order to not drag you down as a creator. I'll talk kind of about my experience of that and how I ignore and don't feed the trolls. But again, a video for another time. If you like this sort of content, I'm going to try to put a lot more out this year. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have a long list of videos to make, both on the equipment I use, as well as some of the processes and just workflow of how I do things. And then talking about things like this. How do you get comfortable in front of a camera? How do you have good audio? I'm using this lapel mic here. I think this was $200. I didn't start with this, but it was something where I wanted to improve one piece of what I did. And so I grabbed this for audio. I have, even more expensive audio things, but part of, being a content creator is getting up, when you're inspired to make a video, get set up and get running as quickly as possible so you don't lose steam. So a lot of little things like that I'll be making videos of this year. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. And this channel, while it kind of started out as me posting my music and personal music and songs that I've written, I'll continue to do that here and there. But I really want to focus on the behind the scenes of the video production that I do, the audio production I do. And if you want to check out my channel, D Soundman, you can do that. Check that out on YouTube. Got quite a following there, a couple million views a year on the videos there, and that's been consistently growing. So I'm excited now that I have a few years under my belt to be able to talk about my experience as a YouTube content creator and what I've seen work and not work. And no, I don't have millions of followers, but my hope is over time that channel and other channels that I run on YouTube continue to grow. And that's just kind of the cycle of being a creator. So again, this video, hopefully it was helpful for you if you're trying to get into the world of maybe content creation or social media and you just feel uncomfortable in front of a camera. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.